Who actually owns the banks? If the answer were really the Jews, this should be one of the easiest conspiracies in the world to prove. Banks publish reports. Public companies disclose major shareholders. The Federal Reserve explains how it is governed. And yet, when you check the records, the story falls apart. The short answer is simple. Jewish people as a group do not own or control the banks. Jewish individuals have founded, owned, or worked in financial companies, just as people from many other backgrounds have. But one banker, one company, or one wealthy family is not an entire religion controlling finance. To understand where the idea came from, we have to go back to medieval Christian Europe. The Church condemned charging interest on loans, often called usury, although Christians still found ways to lend. At the same time, Jewish communities in many places faced strict limits. They could be blocked from owning land, holding public office, joining guilds, or entering many trades. That left fewer ways to earn a living, and money lending became one occupation open to some Jewish people. The economy still needed credit. Farmers needed loans. Merchants needed money. Rulers needed funds for wars and government. So some Jewish lenders filled a gap society had created. Then they were blamed for it. Borrowers saw the person collecting a debt, not the laws that had restricted that person's choices. Rulers could tax Jewish lenders while public anger focused on the visible lender. Over time, this helped create the image of the greedy Jewish moneylender. But even then, Jews did not control finance. Christian merchants and banking houses also lent money and financed rulers. Many Jewish lenders worked locally, serving people with little access to credit. So the claim that Jews have always controlled money begins with a false picture of the past. The modern version of the myth grew around the Rothschild family. The Rothschilds were a real Jewish banking family from Frankfurt. In the late 1700s and early 1800s, they expanded into major European cities, became extremely successful, financed governments, and invested in large projects. Their wealth was real, but conspiracy writers transformed one successful family into a secret force controlling nations and the entire financial system. That is how conspiracy thinking works. It starts with a real fact and stretches it beyond the evidence. The Rothschilds were wealthy becomes the Rothschilds control all banking. They worked across borders becomes they control every government. The evidence does not grow. The story does. Then the conspiracy gained what looked like written proof. In the early 1900s, a text appeared in the Russian Empire called The Protocols of the Elders of Zion. It claimed to reveal secret meetings in which Jewish leaders planned to control politics, money, the press, and the world. But the meetings never happened. The leaders did not exist. The document was a forgery, and large parts were copied from an earlier French political satire that was not about Jews. Even after the fraud was exposed, it continued to spread and was later used by Nazi propaganda. Many claims repeated online today are modern versions of that fabrication. Now, look at how banks actually work. Major banks such as J.P. Morgan Chase, Bank of America, and Citigroup are publicly traded companies. Their shares are held by individual and institutional investors, including pension funds, retirement funds, and mutual funds. There is no secret religious ownership category behind them. BlackRock is also misunderstood. It manages enormous sums, but most of that money belongs to clients such as retirement savers, pension plans, governments, charities, and companies. Managing investments for clients is not the same as secretly owning everything. Then there is the Federal Reserve, the institution most often named in this conspiracy. Congress created it in 1913. Its Board of Governors is a federal government agency. Governors are nominated by the President and confirmed by the Senate. The system also includes 12 regional reserve banks, and member banks must hold stock in their regional bank. But that stock is not normal company stock. It cannot be freely traded, and it does not allow a family to buy or control the Federal Reserve. Monetary policy is set through the Board of Governors and the Federal Open Market Committee. After expenses, required dividends, and other legal provisions, remaining net earnings are transferred to the United States Treasury, not to the Rothschild family or any religious group. Individual involvement is not ownership, and one person is not an entire people. So why does the myth survive? Because finance is complicated and conspiracy stories are simple. A financial crisis may involve interest rates, bad loans, regulation, political choices, and thousands of decisions. It gives confusion a face and makes the person repeating it feel they have discovered a secret. It also uses a double standard. A successful Jewish banker is treated as evidence about all Jews, while a successful non-Jewish banker is treated as one individual. That is not an investigation. It is selecting only the facts that keep the story alive. The real history is much simpler. Jewish communities were restricted. Some were pushed toward a narrow range of occupations, and then the whole group was blamed for the role a minority had been forced to fill. Later, one successful family was turned into an entire people, and one proven forgery was repeated as evidence. This matters because the myth does not end with banking. It turns suspicion into blame, blame into exclusion, and exclusion can become violence. So the next time someone says, "Jews control the banks," ask 3 questions. Which bank? Who are its recorded owners? And what evidence connects those owners to Jewish people as one organized group? Once rumor is replaced with records, the secret empire disappears. What remains is the real history the myth was designed to hide.